Over 7 billion walking, who's loving you, who's loving you? So many people out there, how do I choose?
Great afternoon, kings and queens. Thank you for tuning in to another episode on Your Best You with Drew. I truly appreciate everybody who joins my live feeds, everybody who watches these videos, and everybody who shares. You know, I don't take it for granted, because I know that with every opportunity that we get to spread truth, one person grows. You know, that means that somebody's not dying. And so I greatly appreciate it. Wanted to come to you briefly and share something with you. It's so powerful how the subconscious mind works. And I know you guys have been hearing me talk about the subconscious mind, or the soul, or the heart, or the bucket, or the memory bank, whatever you choose to call it is what it is. And it's so powerful. As I was minding my business earlier, a song came on that I hadn't heard maybe in about 15, 20 years. It was Boys to Men. We don't even talk anymore. We don't even know why we argue about. Don't even say I love you no more. It was so powerful, right? Because here it is, a song that I hadn't heard in maybe 15, 20 years. But I was able to recite it word for word, every lyric, every run. Meaning that song was so embedded inside of me, I was able to sing it like it was 15, 20 years ago. But not only that, it took me back to where I was then. I'm talking about 2626 Diane Place, 43207, 614-491-7553. I'm talking about, it took me back to where I was. But what's so powerful about it, and what I want people to understand and take from this, is that our subconscious mind, our memory bank, our soul is the most vital piece of what we own, right? We got a body, we got a soul, and we got a spirit. Now, the spirit man is who we are, but the soul is like the mediator. It's like the go-between, right? And so, for instance, think about your favorite song. I'm talking about a song that you know, known for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and think about how it takes you back to a certain place, how it puts you back in a certain feeling, back in a certain time zone, you know, back in a certain emotion, back in a certain relationship. That's the power of our subconscious mind, or our memory bank, right? Think about it. When you brush your teeth in the morning, you never think about how you're going to do it. Now, see, when you were a toddler and you were growing up and you were being taught how to brush your teeth, you had to worry about the stroke. You had to worry about the distance of how far you can go back. But see, the thing now is, since you've done it hundreds of thousands of times, you never think about it. It's now habit, and it's now organic. So now when you brush your teeth, you just do it, and it just flows effortlessly. It's the same thing as when we go to jobs. We clock in the same exact way. We sit down at the desk and we log in the same exact way. We answer the phones the same exact way. We pound out metal the same exact way. We drive the bus the same exact way. Why? Because we've done it so many times that it's habit now. That's a law. That's a principle. That was an idea. That was a thought. The idea of us brushing our teeth, an idea of somebody employing us, the idea. So what we have to recognize is that if that's an idea, that means that can be changed, or we can put in the ideas that we desire out of life. And so what we have to understand is that same law and principle can be used in such a positive and a productive way. But it's our responsibility to take heed to information like this. Because this type of information will not only shape your now, but it would also shape your future. It would change things for the best and for the things to come. My counselor, Dr. Yeshua, told me a principle and a law that I never forget. He said, Andrew, a little leaving's the whole lump. And so what that means is that a little idea can grow into the full capacity or the full magnitude of the product, of whatever it is that we put in. And so if that's to be an astronaut, the little information that you begin with, the little idea of you becoming an astronaut and you beginning to do the research and study, It'll grow into you actually becoming the physical manifestation of an astronaut. A little leaving or a little idea of you becoming a bodybuilder and you putting in the understanding and the knowledge of what it takes to become that bodybuilder. And so you go and you lift those weights and you learn how to diet right and you train and you pose, and then you become the physical manifestation through an idea. It starts with our thoughts. But if we never understand the power and the authority of our thinking, we'll never be able to manifest the truth of who we really are. And so you ask, Andrew, what does that have to do with me? What does my memory bank have to do with me? And I'm glad you asked that question, because it has absolutely everything to do with you. We operate as human beings from our memory bank. We do everything out of habit. We are creatures of habit. And so that's saying that the little leaven, the little idea of whatever it may be that you allow or you consciously put into your memory bank, ultimately, when that thought or that idea is repeated over and over and over again, it becomes your action. It becomes your lifestyle. It becomes the way that you operate. And so our responsibility is to take heed or to protect what we allow to go into our souls, our subconscious, our memory banks. So that's the music we listen to, that's the TV programs we watch, that's the conversations we have, that's the literature that we read, because we are allowing ideas to go into our bucket, into our flower pot, and plant seeds. And if those seeds aren't seeds that you desire to produce in life, so that means that it can be a seed of corn or it can be a seed of nightshade, poison. But the flower pot that we have inside of us, it will invariably produce both poison and corn. Our responsibility is to watch what we allow in. Our responsibility is to uproot what we have in that we don't desire to be in. Our responsibility is to put in the seeds that we desire out of life. So if you desire to be a successful nurse, then you put that information in, you study, you go to class, and you pass, and you become a nurse. If you desire to be an athlete, you train, you study, you practice, you put it in, you put that seed in. If you desire to become a musician, you train, you study, you put that work in, you put those ideas in over and over and over again. If you desire to be a great husband, you spend time around men who are husbands. You read material that's teaching you how to be a husband. I'm telling you, these ideas, these principles, these laws, these precepts are in effect whether we pay attention to them or not. But our responsibility is to recognize that this is a law, and this law is not a respecter of persons, and it governs every ethnicity, every religion, every creed, every economic class. It doesn't matter. Our responsibility is to take heed on what seeds is going into our buckets, or what ideas are going into our memory bank. Do you want positive, powerful, influential, motivating, transformative ideas? Or do you want depressing, discouraging, degrading, hateful, spiteful ideas? Well, that is your responsibility, and you have that authority and power in your hand. Thank you for tuning in to another episode on Your Best You with Drew. But remember, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle, because we do this every day not to impress people, but to leave an impression on the earth. Share this video with at least one person, because the law is we reap what we sow.